Good morning, 8th graders. Today we are continuing on and we are skipping 1.9 and moving to 1.10. So we're going to talk about what's in 1.9 later in other chapters. So for right now, we are on page 90. So today we're going to be talking about real numbers, rational numbers, irrational numbers. So this very first page here, page 90, I'm going to go through it a little bit more quickly. Just because I don't need you to solve anything, I just need you to be aware of what real numbers, rational numbers, and irrational numbers are, okay? So you've seen this diagram before in previous chapters. So natural numbers, those are our numbers that we anywhere from 1 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5,362. Whole numbers include 0. I've said before, we don't really include natural numbers. We don't talk about those a lot. We just throw 0 in there and just use the term whole numbers. Rational numbers, remember, they can be positive, they can be negative, they can be fractions, they can be decimals. Integers are just positive or negative whole numbers. Today we're going to add on irrational numbers. So irrational numbers are ones that are not rational, hence irrational. The square root of any number that's not a perfect square is irrational. So the square root of 36, well, that equals 6. That's a nice even number. But the square root of 3 equals this big long number here. It's not a nice, clean, pretty whole number or integer. So the set of rational numbers and the set of irrational numbers together make up real numbers. So all of these are real numbers. That's just a funny way of saying that. So let's look at some of our examples here. 0.2525252525. Okay, that would be, since it's a repeating decimal, it's a rational number because it still falls under positive or negative fractions or decimals. It's the same as 25/99. Now number 2, the square root of 36, well, that one is also a rational number because it's a perfect square. It's a natural number, a whole number, and an integer, and a rational number. And negative square root of 7 is about negative 2.645751311 and keeps going on and on and on and on. So we would call that an irrational number. The most important irrational number you need to be aware of is this button right here. And it's this symbol here, which is called pi. And pi is another great example of an irrational number. 3.14159265439, and I don't have them all memorized, but there you go. All right, so go ahead and turn over to page 91, please. And let's compare some of these numbers. So now that you have a little bit, you just have a name for them. We're not solving any of them once again on page 90, just giving a name. We can compare and order real numbers by writing them in the same notation, so in the same form. Write the numbers in decimal notation before comparing or ordering them. So what this is asking us is, which is bigger, the square root of 7 or 2 2/3? Well, we're going to write them both as decimals and then compare them. That's quite a bit easier. Otherwise, we're comparing apples and oranges. So the square root of 7 is about 2.645751311, continuing on. 2 2/3, 2 and 2/3, 0.6666666, and that's what that one shows as well. So since 2.66 is bigger than 2.64, we can say that this one is bigger than this one. So 2 2/3 is bigger than the square root of 7. All right, example 5. 15.7% and the square root of 0.02. Well, 15% as a decimal, I'm going to write it right on top, would be 0.157. If you needed a review on making decimals percents, let me know. 0.157, so basically we just move the decimal over 2 spots. And the square root of 0.02 is 1.1412, or 0.14141213, continuing on. So if I look at these, 157 thousandths, 144 thousandths, I can see that 157 thousandths is bigger, so therefore 15.7 is bigger. All right, you might also come across an example like number 6, where instead of just 2, they confuse you by asking you to do 4 and in a more confusing way. So you're gonna order the set of these 4 numbers from least to greatest. So in order to do that, exactly what they did is they made square root of 30 into a decimal, 6 into a decimal, 5 4/5 into a decimal, and 36.36 into a decimal, but it's already in a decimal, so they just left it. And then put them along the number line to show from smallest to largest. So go ahead and try D, E, F, and G on your own, all 4 of those. When you're done, when you're done, please raise your hand. I can check it and give you some practice problems. Good luck, 8th grade.